I do not know necessarily how I feel about the Montreal Canadiens using most of their roster contract spots on AHL guys. The Habs earlier this morning made 2 signings, agreeing to terms on 1-year, 2-way contracts with forwards Jared Davidson and Hunter Mckown. That's it. Those are the 2 contract signings by the Montreal Canadiens today, and you can see, hey, we are going to have the best AHL team ever. Go, Laval, go. Another AHL player for the Habs. And you have the LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Miami Heat, SpongeBob thing. Man, our AHL team is going to be sick. Let's go out there and read the press release on both of these guys, as Jared Davidson and Hunter Mckown do have their own stories, and I just want to see what Kent Hughes has to say about the contracts being signed. 1-year deals for Davidson and McKown. Both forwards sign a 2-way deal. Montreal Canadiens GM Kent Hughes announced on Monday the team has agreed the terms on 1-year 2-way contracts with both McKown and Davidson. Davidson, 24, played 10 games in the NHL with the Canadiens in 2025-2026, recording 1 assist. Man, did he really? Look, I recognize that he had made his NHL debut a while ago. He played 10 games? Wow. That's pretty impressive, I'm not going to lie. The 5'11", 183-pound forward also skated in 53 games with Laval in the AHL last season, producing 16 goals and 9 assists. The forward was drafted by the Canadiens in the 5th round of the 2022 NHL Draft. McKown sported the colors of the AHL's Cleveland Monsters in 2025-2026. The 23-year-old right-handed centerman registered 9 goals and 16 assists in 63 regular season games, before adding 2 points in 8 playoff appearances. A native of San Jose, California, look at the line break there, you kind of got to remove that. McKown was acquired from the Columbus Blue Jackets earlier this summer in exchange for forward Luke Tuch. Okay, so no statement here, just 2 very brief descriptions on what these guys are and what these guys provide. Jared Davidson, 24 years old, the fact that he's a 5th-round pick who actually did get some NHL time last season is a pretty big deal. I mean, you rarely see 5th-round picks pan out to the point where they can even be called up, let alone actually play 10 games in an NHL campaign. I didn't even realize he played that many. I remember he was all right. He was awarded with an assist after all, but Jared Davidson getting up to 10 total games last season does feel like a pipe dream. Good for him, honestly. Good for him. He was more productive in the AHL in 2024-2025 versus 2025-2026, as in that season he had 45 points in 69 games. But for Davidson, a undersized center with a left-handed shot, he does provide a lot of that dog and heart. There's a reason he was able to work himself onto the Canadiens despite not having the best production out there. He was a very good Seattle Thunderbird after getting drafted by Montreal. 80-point guy in back-to-back seasons and one of the more dangerous WHL competitors. Meanwhile, Hunter Mckown, we did make a video about him earlier in the offseason when he got traded over to the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for Luke Tuch. That was a 1-for-1 trade, change of scenery type deal. Luke Tuch, I mean, there was always intrigue in him because he was Alex Tuch's brother, but now he's in Columbus, so obviously 2 Tuchs getting traded in the offseason makes for a fun family reunion. Hunter Mckown, though, 6'1", 192. He's a right-handed winger, 23 years old, from San Jose, California, and he was able to produce a decent amount of points with the Cleveland Monsters over the past 3 years. He also wrapped up his NCAA career and started out his pro career with the Columbus Blue Jackets, scoring 2 assists in 12 games at the end of the 2023 season. Mckown, though, will be coming over to Montreal as AHL depth. Davidson, I'd say that if there is an injury or something, maybe Davidson isn't like the first call-up. I would assume maybe a Joshua. Or no, Joshua's gone. Right. Where is he now? Is he a St. Louis Blue? My brain says St. Louis. Is that correct? Tucson Roadrunners in the AHL. Okay, so he's a Utah Mammoth. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, Josh was out of the system, so maybe Davidson is in first call-up territory for the Montreal Canadiens. Because these guys are signed to two-way deals, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point throughout the course of the year, Kent Hughes rewards them for playing well in the AHL by saying, hey, we're going to call you up to the NHL team for like 2 or 3 days. We'll pay you NHL money because you're making like 10 times more in the National Hockey League per day than if you're in the AHL. And then we'll just let you chill. You can be around the NHL team. You can see what it's like to practice with these NHL guys and then maybe participate in a full-on scrimmage or something. We actually have the contract details. Yeah, so Jared Davidson, he's going to be making $135,000 in the minors, $850,000 in the NHL. So hey, he's making 6 figures no matter where he plays. That's a pretty big increase from the $82,500 that he was making in 2025-2026. Spare the 10 days worth of time, 10 games worth of time where he was with the Montreal Canadiens, where he was making this salary daily. Look at that, eh? I mean, $82,500 to play pro hockey is a pretty good deal, but there are office workers that make more than that. There are probably a small percentage of people that watch these YouTube videos that make more than $82,500 per year. So Jared Davidson getting this improvement is a pretty nice career move for him. Meanwhile, you talk about Hunter McKown. He will be getting a similar amount of money, $135,000 in the minors. He also was in the sub $100,000 range per season playing with the Cleveland Monsters. This is also in USD, though, so I guess that does help, right? Contracts signed in the NHL are USD, are they not? Anyways, McKown went from making $82,000 a year to $82,000 a year to $90,000 a year to $135,000, which is great for him at 23 years old. It does beg the question, though. You look at the Montreal Canadiens and their contract structure. Yeah, they've got $9 million in space, whatever, and they still have to re-sign Zach Bolduc as well as Arber Xhekaj. But you look at the amount of guys that are being signed to AHL contracts, the amount of guys in the system that are going to be loaned over to other organizations. I do question if this is the proper way to do business. And for Laval specifically, it's okay to have these guys making a certain amount of money, it's fine. I'm just wondering, the players on Laval-only contracts, it doesn't seem like there are going to be too many of them heading into next year. Most of these contract spots are being held up with the main Montreal Canadiens team. Maybe it's just them trying to do right by the players they have acquired, like, hey, we want to give you the opportunity to earn some NHL money at some point, so we'll sign you to an NHL deal, we'll bring you up, we'll have you here for a few weeks, and then we'll send you back down. Maybe it's something like that, right? But either way, it has been noted by a certain part of the Canadiens fan base that, yeah, there are a number of AHL guys that are just AHL guys on NHL two-way contracts. So with all that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Jared Davidson, Hunter McKown, 2 guys getting signed by the Canadiens. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.